Hello friends, this is Parag here, your Kettlebell coach. I'm making this unique video because of the start of the Kettlebell competitions and even other competitions India-wide. This video is not restricted only to the Kettlebell competitions, but in general, if you are participating into any competition, this can be very helpful. There are certain pointers which basically will help you to progress in kettlebell sport. But in general, the philosophical point or in general the psychological aspect before the competition which an athlete prepares is what I have kept this in front of you. So I'm going to cover this video in 6 pointers, and please do let me know after finishing the video if you like it. So the first point which I want to share is focus on the technique. Oftentimes we see that people, when they actually get into the competition, they are looking forward to the reps, and in a 10-minute set or maybe even in a marathon set, we rush faster to get the reps and we lose out on the technique. My verdict is to please focus on the technique, because if you go slow, if you understand very well what you're doing, you will be able to focus on the last minute, which is very important. So for example, if you're doing a 10-minute set, the 8, 9 and 10-minute set becomes very important. So when you start lifting, ensure that your technique is really great. Ensure that you are very well aware of what you're doing. Most important is when you are working on the technique and when you go slow, your heart rate also becomes very low, or rather your heart rate also stays very low, which also help you to complete your full set very comfortably, and you can also get to the leading edge where you can actually make a PR. So my personal point would be, the first point would be to focus on the technique. Second is to visualize your sets from first minute until 10th minute. As per your coach's advice, whatever you have learned, how to start the set, whether repetitions done per minute would be 6, 7, 8, or whatever that reps might be, ensure that you visualize all your repetitions done in every minute. Say for example, if you plan to do 8 repetitions per minute for all 10 sets, that means you're planning to do 80 reps. So check yourself how you are performing on first 30 seconds. Check yourself how you are performing on last 30 seconds of first minute. Similarly, do the same thing for the second minute, third minute, fourth minute, and simultaneously also work on the technique, because the first point which I mentioned, that when you're actually pacing up, you might fall apart from the technique. So all the 10 minutes, ensure that when you visualize this, your sets when you're actually lifting comes correct. And this is one of also the key aspects for a successful athlete or a successful person who have done very well in kettlebell competitions or even in powerlifting or any other sport. They visualize their technique, they visualize their repetitions correctly, and it actually comes the way they visualize it. So ensure this, that point number 2 becomes your inherent part of your training or inherent part of your main set or main competition just before the competition. Third is practice positive talks. At times we see that when we go to the competition environment, it is not necessary that everyone are really well prepared for the sets. Many people prepare for 3 months, many people prepare for 6 months, many people are actually preparing for this particular competition. So you might find different people, different background, different culture, and with all this mixture of culture, meeting the people from different countries, or probably if you are doing a national competition, meeting people from different states, practicing positive talks become very, very difficult. We often say, oh, am I really going to complete this set? Okay, this is a negative talk. So when you are speaking to someone, ensure that you are talking positive, so you basically can transfer that positive energy to the other athlete, and simultaneously you can also tell him that you can also practice the same thing, so that you do not have to talk about the sets which are not going to fulfill completely. That is negative talks. Maybe you might land up saying that, oh, my preparation is very less, I'm not able to complete the set, I'm not sure about what I'm doing. So this is doubting yourself. So you are sending the same signal to the subconscious, and you are definitely going to fail if you are having such kind of talk. So practice the positive talk. Fourth point is empty yourself. That is, I call as empty your inner self. Very important, because if you are not feeling good from inside, you will not be able to feel good while lifting. If you have any family problem, if you have any financial problem, if you have any other problem, I mean, if you are bringing all those baggages with you when you're lifting, it is going to be very hard for you to do the 10-minute set or even do a 30 minutes or 60-minute set. So empty yourself first. And I personally say that to empty yourself, practice meditation, because if you are trying to remove the toxins from the body, you need to breathe hard. You need to follow certain breathing techniques which you usually do in the meditation. Definitely, this is a very hard subject to talk on into such a small time. But if you want, I can make a separate video on this point. But emptying on the inner self, keeping your anxiety as low as possible, or rather, keeping no anxiety, no fear, and ensure that when you are actually coming to the set, you are lifting the set and you are actually enjoying the set, so that when you finish the set, you feel happy about it, because you have prepared all the way to, say, for example, if you are preparing for 5 months, 6 months, you have invested a lot of time and money simultaneously to grow. So last minute, if you are having any issues which is going in your mind, this is going to hamper your set big time. So ensure that you empty your inner self. Fifth point is pick the right environment. Very difficult when you go internationally. I've been traveling internationally, I think, for many years, and this is my experiences. When you pick up the right environment, maybe you want to get isolated, or maybe if you have a couple of friends who basically can keep you motivated, that might be a good choice. Say, for example, if you are picking up a right environment to be secluded from the crowd, you might want to hear the music and be yourself. That is one of the things which I also practice, is not mixing up with anyone. Just before the competition, say for example, if you're lifting at 4 o'clock in the evening, the entire day is going to be very stressful, and you might land up into a lot of conversations with other people when you go to the restaurants, or probably if you walk around and if you meet someone, and if you are meeting him or her for the first time, you might land up into some kind of talks. So try to ensure that you keep these talks post your lifting, and the hours before the competition is your hours. So ensure that you pick up the right environment. Well, a lot of things are not in our control when you are actually going to different countries. You are going to cold climate, probably it is cold outside. You are traveling to a hot climate, probably the climatic conditions are very harsh there. Make yourself comfortable. Do not get too cold, too hot. Ensure that your body temperature is maintained very well, and you stay at calm peace, so that your competition set is done absolutely the way you want, or your coach wants. Ensure that this point is followed correctly, which will help you. Sixth point is called self-awareness, very important. Now, if you're aware of what you're doing, I think the job is done. You are probably on the right track. But what happens is the stress creates panic. The stress creates, because you need to know how to deal with the stress. And most important part is when you are dealing with the stresses, when it piles up, then you are not very much aware of what you want to do on that particular day. So be self-aware. Ensure that the work or the job what you are doing today, when you are lifting competition, is the work or the job which you want to execute based on your plans. And if you are adding a lot of things, which is the kind of a baggage which I say I'm carrying with it, then you are not aware of what you are actually doing. So pretty much be self-aware about your lifting, your competition. Take down the notes. Keeping the journal is very important. If you have bad thoughts, write it down. Understand that why these thoughts are coming just before the competition, so that you make a preparation to deal with those kind of stress on your next competition. Because every competition is a learning, whether it is a small or big platform. When you are competing, you learn a lot of things, and you always will grow only if you participate into more competition, because the experience pile up and you can actually share such kind of experience to your juniors, the way I am trying to do it. For the juniors or for the people who are actually getting started with the competition, novice lifter, probably these points are pretty much applicable to all the competitions, even if you are doing bodybuilding, or probably if you are doing powerlifting or cycling or anything, marathon for example, any competition. So I think 50-60% of the points which I have covered are probably common points for all the competition. So I hope you guys have liked the 6 points. Give me a thumbs up if you like, and I will see you whenever the competition is there, and I wish you good luck for the competition.